Are you learning German and struggling with the pronunciation? Do you want to learn how to pronounce German properly? Or maybe you just want to impress your friends by knowing how to pronounce all those strange German company names properly. Well, stay tuned, because in this video I'm going to give you a lesson in German pronunciation using those examples of those famous German brand names. How many will you get right? What are the differences between English and German when it comes to pronunciation? Let's find out. German, of course, uses the same alphabet as English, with a few exceptions, like those letters, the E, Ö, Ü, and what is known as SZ. That means, of course, we can take a lot for granted and concentrate on the differences rather than going through every single letter. Bear in mind that this pronunciation guide doesn't take into account any regional dialects. We are focusing purely on what is known as Hochdeutsch or Standard German. Let's get started then, and in no particular order. We're going to start with one of the most famous German brand names, and we're going to probably confirm one or two stereotypes along the way about Germans, and this is our brand. How would you pronounce it? Have a go. It is, of course, Volkswagen. The literal translation of this would be people's car, the word Volk meaning people, and the word Wagen meaning car, of course. In typical German fashion, the two words are merged together into a compound noun, Volkswagen. Pay particular attention to the long German A sound in Volkswagen, Volkswagen. It may be different to the way you pronounce an A in your native language. You will also notice our first major difference in pronunciation in that the V sound at the beginning of the word Volk and Volkswagen is very much like an English F, and the W sound on the beginning of Wagen, Volkswagen, is more in line with a German V, just like in the other car brand name BMW, BMW, the letter W is in German V. Volkswagen. BMW. Let's move on then to sports clothing and equipment, and a brand you will all be familiar with. Here it is. How would you pronounce that? Well, if you are saying something along the lines of Adidas, you are some way off the mark. It is in fact Adidas, as it was named after its company founder, Adi Dassler. Did you know that Adi Dassler also had an older brother, Rudolf? He in fact set up the rival company that we know in the English world as Puma, just a stone's throw away from Adidas headquarters in the town of Herzogenaurach. The word Puma in English and in German is written exactly the same and has the same meaning, but the brand name and the animal are both pronounced in German Puma. Puma. Be careful with those German vowels. If you are a native speaker of English, you will naturally have a tendency to have a more relaxed, lazier position of the mouth for your vowels. In German, they are very well defined. A, E, I, O, U. Puma. One of Germany's biggest technology companies is, of course, Siemens. Siemens is also a very good word for teaching pronunciation for a couple of reasons. You will notice the S at the beginning of the word is pronounced more in line with an English Z or Z. Siemens and not Siemens. The S at the end of the word, however, is more in line with what we are familiar with. Siemens. But apart from in a few local dialects, most notably in the south of Germany and in Austria, an S at the beginning of a word before a vowel is pronounced like an English Z or Z. And that's also why in German buzzing is summen. Summen. S-U-M-M-E-N. That's also why the well-known microphone manufacturer is Sennheiser and not Sennheiser. This type of pronunciation of the letter S does actually occur in the English language, but usually in the middle of words like wiser or generalize, to take the English spelling of generalize. And what about those diphthong sounds? A diphthong, of course, being the combination of vowels to make one vowel sound, and we've got some great ones some great contrasting ones in Siemens and Sennheiser. There is a very simple rule that's easy to remember using this formula in German. I-E says E, E-I says I. That's why the I-E in Siemens says E, Siemens, and the E-I in Sennheiser is the I sound, Sennheiser, Sennheiser. So if an S is pronounced like a Z, how is a Z pronounced? Well, it's a very good question. If you're into your camera equipment and optical equipment, you'll probably know this company very well. And this is pronounced Carl Zeiss. Zeiss. You'll notice that there's a very unusual sound at the beginning of the word Zeiss, the name Zeiss, that seems unfamiliar at first, but there's a very good way to think about how to pronounce this. We have the sound in English, but just not at the start of words. It's in the words its, that's, flats, hats. It's the equivalent of pronouncing the TS at the end of all of those words, but leaving out the letters before them. Practice it. It's, that's, ts, ts, Zeiss, Carl Zeiss AG, Zeiss. You will no doubt also be familiar with the famous American singer, songwriter and poet whose real name was Robert Zimmermann, or with the German pronunciation, Robert Zimmermann. Zimmermann. How are you doing so far? Are you getting them all right, or maybe have you learnt something? Comment down below. And if you are enjoying the video, finding it useful, please remember to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you very much. Okay, let's get back to our brand names then, and another car manufacturer. This is Audi. Audi. I think nowadays most English speakers are familiar with the brand name Audi and know that it is pronounced Audi and not Audi. The pronunciation is thanks to another German diphthong, the AU, gives us an OW sound. Just like in English we say ouch, the Germans also say ouch, but it's spelt like that, or even aua. Thanks to Audi, we are also very familiar with a German phrase which is used all over the world as the car manufacturer's advertising slogan, Vorsprung durch Technik, of course. And depending on the abilities of the respective voiceover actor, it is not always pronounced that well. But it's another good learning opportunity. Incidentally, it means something along the lines of keeping one step ahead of the competition thanks to technology. Yes, it's a big mouthful in English. It doesn't really translate directly and snappily. That's why I think they use it throughout the world in the original German. Vorsprung durch Technik. The V sound at the beginning of the word Vorsprung is another reminder of what we have already learned, that the V sound in German is more like an English F, but also listen to the S sound in there. We have a new S sound. Vorsprung is in fact another compound noun which is made up of the words vor and Sprung, literally forward jump. Sprung means jump, of course. You hear that sound as if there was an SH sound in there instead of just an S. We talked about the S sound being more like a Z when it's in front of a vowel, like Siemens, Sennheiser, for example. Well, this is the pronunciation of an S in front of a consonant, and you will in fact only find a German S in front of the consonants P and T, or C in conjunction with the SCH in front of another vowel. But that's another story, we'll get to that later. So we have an SH sound instead of a normal S sound if you see it in front of a P or a T. In words like Sport, Spanier, Stadt, and of course Sprung, Vorsprung. The other tricky letter combination in this slogan appears in both the words durch and Technik. It is of course the German CH sound, which is very different to an English CH sound, like in the words chicken. There are in fact two ways of pronouncing the CH sound in German depending on the vowel which it follows. After these letters, for instance, which are pronounced in German E, I, E, Ö, Ü, it's a slightly softer sound, so like the words ich, Blech, mächtig, Köche, Küche. After these vowels, A, O, U, it's a slightly harsher, throatier sound. It comes less from the front of the mouth and more from the back of the throat. For example, in the words lachen, Loch and Bauch. Do you hear the difference? Ich lache. Ich lache. This brings us on neatly to our next sound, the standard German R sound. And we're going to illustrate this with the name of a very important company, a big brewing group, Radeberger. Radeberger. The standard German R sound is a very unusual but a wonderful sound that does indeed come from a very similar place in the throat as the CH sound, the harsher sounding CH sound in lachen, machen and krach, somewhere here at the back. It's very difficult to get down, but it's great if you can. If you can't do it, don't worry too much, because there are indeed a lot of regional variants. Some of them are more rolled, and some R pronunciations are even closer to how we pronounce an R in English. But do stick at it, do give it a good go, because it's great once you can get it right. Richtig reden, Radfahren, Radeberger trinken. Richtig reden, Radfahren, Radeberger trinken. You will also note that the R at the end of words, typically after a vowel, has a different function. Listen to this. Radeberger. ER at the end. Radeberger. This is because German pronunciation is non-rhotic. That means that the R at the end of a word is not directly pronounced. It's a very similar story to the way in which pronunciation differs between standard British English pronunciation and standard American English pronunciation. Whereas an American would pronounce this word water, and you can clearly hear the letter R at the end of the word water, I, as a British person, would pronounce it water. Water. It's a more open vowel sound at the end. So in German, don't say Radeberger, say Radeberger. Radeberger. And talking of word endings, for a long time the German brand name Porsche was known as Porsche in the English-speaking word, until we realised that it also has two syllables. Porsche. Porsche. A lot of you will no doubt have seen the episode of Friends where Joey is pretending that he is an owner of one of these sports cars and constantly insisting, it's not Porsche, it's Porsche! Porsche! Well, that's not entirely right. In German there is a clear distinction between a word ending on a non-rhotic R and a word ending on the letter E. The difference is between Radeberger and Porsche. Radeberger, Porsche. This distinction is also important in order to distinguish between enter and enter. Enter, enter. And Größe, größer. Größe, größer. And I'm going to end with a couple of brand names that include those unusual German characters E, Ö, Ü and SZ, or scharfes S. The sharp S, or stimmloses S, as this is sometimes known, is very familiar for us English speakers, just like a normal English S sound, or a double S in the German language, like in the word Weiss, for example. It's a normal hissing snake of an S. Weiss. For all intents and purposes, it can be thought of as double S. And indeed now, ever since the spelling reforms in the years 2004 and 2006 were introduced, an SZ is replaced by a double S in front of all short vowels. So you'll find an SZ at the end of the words Fuß and Ruß, but at the end of the word Muss and Guss, you will find double S. And then also in some proper names and family names, like the transport and logistics company Gebrüder Weiss. Gebrüder Weiss. The word Gebrüder in the word Gebrüder Weiss is a great word for teaching the Ü sound. It's a very difficult sound for English speakers as we don't have it in English. Try and think of it like this. Try and grin broadly and say the E like a German I. E, and then try and round your lips as though you were trying to pronounce a U, and you will probably get there eventually. E. Don't let your lips form the U sound completely. You will look like a complete idiot when trying this, just as I do, but it's a little tip that in fact a French teacher of mine gave me, and it works very well. E. Gebrüder. Gebrüder Weiss. That's one umlaut covered then, and what about this famous brand name? Jägermeister. Jägermeister. To English ears, the E sound in Jägermeister is close to what we hear when we hear a German E sound, so E, but there is a slight difference between the sounds, the vowel sounds E and E. E, E. Universität, Jägermeister. And to continue confirming stereotypes, we're going to end with another beer brand. And how many of you would pronounce this normally Lowenbrau? Well, we're some way off the mark with our English pronunciation because of course there are some umlauts in there and they make a big difference and make this Löwenbräu, literally the lion's brew. Löwenbräu. The Ö sound is again a very difficult one for us English, just takes practice. Ö. I think you can do a similar exercise in that you say a German E sound, E, and then try and round your lips to form an O sound, so it's a mixture between O and E. Löwenbräu. And the umlaut on the A has a very interesting function because do you remember back our diphthong AU says ow, so we had aua, ouch. Well, here we have an umlaut and it makes a very different sound to our diphthong. It's Löwenbräu. In the brewery, in the Brauerei, they make Löwenbräu. It's also featured in the words, this sound is also featured in the words Gebäude and Säugetier. Im Gebäude der Löwenbräu Brauerei arbeiten ganz viele Säugetiere. Menschliche. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this quick pronunciation guide was at least amusing and hopefully it was also helpful for you. If you are learning German and you are looking for some free materials for learning German, check out the link in the description down below, and otherwise sign up here, subscribe to the channel for more content like this on the German language, and give me a thumbs up, that would be great, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching again. Mach's gut, Leute.